end of 2018. I started with personal growth. And now it's 2023. We have two homes on two sides of the ocean. We travel back and forth. We have a team, we have employees, we have a big company. And this came so quick, so fast. And I think maybe your brain cannot keep up with that. And then your heart knows the answer, but your brain doesn't. So it's always good to play that so-called why game, because the first reason, the first answer, the first why is never the answer.
Why is it so hard to believe that it could happen that fast?
Because I was completely powerless and I had no power. Like no one helped me. Like I was complete powerless. And to imagine that I'm able to have such a success, which brings me automatically in a place of power, like, yeah, my brain is kind of telling me, well, we don't want to change anything. We kind of survived it, didn't we? So why do we want to change anything in life? You're not worth it. I think that's so. I think I want to play that game. You know, that game that you can play? It's called the why game. It's part of the clarity course. Because I don't know why I'm not able to introduce myself. So maybe you want to ask me why multiple times until we find the reason.
Okay. So I noticed that you had a little difficulty coming up with a good intro there for yourself. Why do you think that is?
I think it's difficult for me to praise myself. I have a hard time in praising myself. Like, I did that and I did that. I'm the creator of, and I had so many workshops. And yeah, it's difficult for me
Mm. Why do you think that is?
because I think I'm an imposter. And one day people will realize that I'm an imposter. I think there's a name for it. It's called imposter syndrome. And it always pops up when you're really successful, when you're really going for things, you're really having customers, you're having courses and given workshops, you create stuff and you kind of believe, oh, I'm an imposter. Like this can't be true because I think it's a reality shift when you become successful. So I'm hugely successful and I'm just the front woman or whatever you want to call it. We're hugely successful like in Europe. And this success came so fast that sometimes I'm like, What is happening?" Like 2 years ago, or what is it? 2023? No, it's a little earlier. The end of 2018. I started with personal growth, and now it's 2023. We have two homes on two sides of the ocean. We travel back and forth. We have a team. We have employees. We have a big company. And this came so quick, so fast. And I think maybe your brain cannot keep up with that. And then your heart knows the answer, but your brain doesn't. So it's always good to play that so-called why game, because the first reason, the first answer, the first why is never the answer.
Nor is the second one, and that's only how far we got. So did you just answer the question, why do you think you're an imposter?
Yeah, kinda, because that success came so fast, and I have a hard time believing it that we're suddenly we're six figure in a year. Suddenly, like from zero to six figure. Basically, it feels like we went from zero to six figure. That's not completely true. So we started officially at the beginning of 2021, but that's only 1.5 years from zero to six figure. That's so crazy. Yeah, I feel I have a hard time believing it because it went so fast. Like we were able to quit our 9 to 5 jobs. We're full time in that. We have a team. It's crazy. It's just crazy, and my brain is kind of not keeping up with that.
Why is it so hard to believe that it could happen that fast?
Because when I was 6 year old, I was mass raped by people who were under drugs and drunk. And I was completely powerless. I was tied with handcuffs to a heating, I don't know the word for it,
Radiator.
a radiator, and I had no power. Like, no one helped me. Like, I was complete powerless. And to imagine that I'm able to have such a huge company and such a success, and which brings me automatically in a place of power. Like, I have the power to say, I want to work with you, I don't want to work with you. I think that's, yeah, my brain is kind of telling me, well, we don't want to change anything. Even if you were raped back then, we kind of survived it, didn't we? So why do we want to change anything in life? Let's stick to the thing. You're not worth it. You're not worth it. So yeah, I think that's the reason.
Don't think we can go any deeper than that with that line of questioning. That's pretty deep. So, so the power that was taken away from you as a child and that kind of feeling of being powerless still exists a little bit, even though you consciously decide every day that you're going to take control of your life. I know this because I live with you. I'm watching it happen every day. I'm watching you wake up in the morning and make a decision and say, I own this shit, all of it. This is mine, and I'm going to do something. I'm going to do what I can do about it. It's a decision that not very many people make in their lives. And considering what you came through, there's not too many more levels of powerless that you can go to than what you experience. And and here you are today, waking up every morning and being like, I own my life. Like, look where you are. You're you're in what country today?
I'm in Canada.
What a great idea.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, yes. Mhm.
And it's not like, roses and unicorn urine every day. It's just life, but what a life.
Mhm. Real life, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys realized what happened. I'm having a hard time to concentrate now to bring myself back into presence. So this is what that why game does. It brings you from your thoughts into your heart, into the feeling, and you know the true reason. And you can use it, yes, for such a deep investigation like we did here, which was, to be honest, not planned. But you can also use it like if you're like any kind of desire you have, like for example, you think you need more money, and then you can ask you, why do I want more money? And then you maybe say, because I want a bigger house. And then you can ask yourself, why do you need a bigger house? Because I want my mom or dad to move in. They're old, they need some care. And then you ask yourself, why do you need a bigger house then? Or why do you want your mom? And so forth. You go from the surface reason to a deep, meaningful reason. And a lot of times, and that's the interesting thing, in my case here, I can use it as an example. So the last why brought me into I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. And so I can change that. I can make myself feel worthy of things. I don't have to change that I was raped, and I can't. I don't have to work on the imposter syndrome because it's I you can work on the feeling that's behind, and that's a feeling in my case of unworthiness. And in your case it's also a feeling, it's sometimes a feeling of I don't feel loved, I'm not free enough, I need more space for myself. I had a customer, for example, she wanted a big house because she wanted to have more time for herself and a space for herself. And she didn't need it a bigger house. She created later on a room for herself, a space for herself. So with the why game, you can find the true reason that's behind the first answer you give or your first desire. And this is really, really interesting. And
You
it can
can
go deep.
it can go very deep. You can do this with a partner or a friend, or you can do it by yourself if you're honest enough. But you don't have to train your partner. I'm a coach. I ask people why all the time, but I didn't know that we were going to do that. Like I didn't prepare for that. You don't prepare for it. It's actually better if you don't prepare for it, because if you prepare for it, then you're going to have scripted answers, and that's not going to work. You don't have to be with someone. It's an incredibly powerful tool for self-reflection. You can just get out a piece of paper and you can say, there's something in my life that's bothering me. Why? Write down the answer. Don't go to the next one. Just write down, even if you know it, just write down the first answer and then go why, and then write down the second answer. And if you get to 7, that's probably good enough. If you get really good at this, it'll only take you 3, like Annie just did it in 3. But that's because she has done this more than once. So she knows the game, she knows the end point. But in the beginning, I would say don't try to take too many shortcuts. Just write down the first answer, the second answer, because you kind of really want to see like the entire chain along the way. And when there's no answer left to the question why, then you're done.
I'm done. That was deep shit. So that's enough for me. That was
Yeah.
grand.
Yeah. That was deep. Yeah.
Mhm.